Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Well, welcome to our book club today. Today I'm outside, so the book club environment, I hope they can hear me clearly. If you can hear me clearly, can you please put in the chat? Put a one or put a okay if you can hear me. Can you? Yes. Thanks, Pat. All right, good, good. So, yeah, today is the second part that we're going to talk about mental fitness. Um, It's really quite a tricky issue, and we might again not have enough time, to talk in depth. But nevertheless, I'm just going to cover the important points about. We talk about the 14 things that we can avoid, controllable factors, right? That we can work on to prevent dementia. To prevent dementia, and let me recap what we have done last week. Okay, all right. So last week we talked about out of the 12 um, factors linked to dementia risk, we have already talked about the quality of education. We're saying that the lower the education, the less connection in the brain, the more likely the risk of dementia. Hearing loss is one, depression, brain injury, visual impairment, which is not corrected. Smoking increase the risk of dementia, excessive alcohol, and social isolation. Today, we're going to talk about the rest of the factors that I think are even more important. And these are more the midlife factors. Midlife meaning 30 to 50 years old. Well, I think many of us are within this age, 30 to 50 years old, and it's important, right, to understand this group of risk factors. So number one is actually high blood pressure. High blood pressure we see quite a lot in Singapore, and the onset is getting very young as well. A lot of guys, right, at about at about 30 plus years old already start to have hypertension. So of course that's to do with the diet, with the lifestyle, and the stress as well that many of us are actually going through. So blood pressure actually increase the risk of dementia, right? But if you can bring down the blood pressure, it can actually lower the risk immediately, right, of dementia over time. So, some guys will say that it's okay, I just take medication, but you want to realize that it affect our mental fitness, and I think we might be more afraid to lose our mental fitness, compared with just our physical health. So that's one. The other one, right? That's because high blood pressure will increase the risk of all this: stroke, cognitive decline, vision decline, heart disease, chronic kidney disease, etc. So it's just not a very good position to be at. Although some say that with medication I can control within the normal range with medication, but with and without medication are two different things. Right? It doesn't bring down your risk of dementia in the long term. And, so of course, if you already have hypertension, it's better to take medication first. Yes, take your anti-hypertensive drugs first and work on your diet, nutrition, and lifestyle to bring down your blood pressure in the long run. Don't just rely on medication. Then the second one is obesity. Obesity accounts for 1% controllable factor for mental fitness, for dementia. And because obesity again is linked to diabetes, which is the biggest issue with metabolic syndrome, which can cause dementia as well. So just intentional weight loss by 2 kg. The research shows that just bring down your weight by 2 kg already can improve in cognition. Right? If mental is already not exactly good and the person is overweight, just bring down the weight by 2 kg. You can see the positive effect already. So it's very immediate and it's very linked. Right? The risk of dementia increase, of course, for people who are underweight as well. If BMI is below 18.5, so we still want to stay within the healthy BMI, which is 18.5 to 23 for Asians. Right? And lack physical activity accounts for 2%. Because if you don't exercise, if you sit down there and do nothing for the whole day, the blood flow is actually not optimal. And we know that our brain, remember, although it's 3% of our weight, it takes 20% of the blood flow and also the nutrients, the oxygen. So blood flow is so, so important for the brain. You want to move your body more so that the blood circulation can be better. Increase the blood flow, reduce hypertension, right? Increase nitric oxide, which is our uh, how would I say, whooping, right? Um, Nutrients for the brain, enhance brain plasticity, and reduce inflammation as well. So physical activity is not something that we can just eat healthy and doesn't matter. It's a must that we need to do actually to maintain our mental fitness. Okay, just from extremely sedentary, doing nothing at all, to some physical activity. Just start to walk for 20 minutes a day. Walk only. No need to run, no need to, sweat or pant. Already reduce the risk of dementia. Can I? Okay, so diabetes is another one. So it's talk about diabetes specifically because when um blood sugar control, when the person is diabetes, the blood sugar will be very high and the blood will be very sticky as well. So you know that we rely on the blood to send oxygen to all part of our body and the food as well, and to bring out the waste, to clear off the waste from our body, right? So our circulatory system is very important. When the blood circulation is not good because of diabetes, it increases the risk of dementia. In fact, there's a saying that dementia is actually type 2 diabetes. Right? Type 1, we know that is gene based. Type 2 is because of our diet, our lifestyle. And type 3 is actually linked to our mental fitness, our dementia risk. So that is very, very important actually. That we want to take care of our brain health. So if there are family members with, this is another one, LDL, 7%, which is a very high percentage actually. Because again, when the LDL is high, the blood flow is affected, it increase the risk of dementia. So if you have family members who are high in blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol, these are the three things. Just by reducing these three things, it's over 10% of dementia risk being controlled. Okay? So it's really something that we want to look at. And Fan Chao, the tree high, is so common. You see it, like every other person that we meet might have this issue. So there's actually a very big um, need for a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet to bring down this tree high. Right? Air pollution is another one that accounts for 3%. So a lot of people thought air pollution is just affecting our lungs, affecting our respiratory system. But there is this brain-blood barrier, which if it's PM 2.5, the molecule is so small that it can actually go through the barrier to get into our brain, to get into our whole system, and to create a lot of oxidative stress for our body. So again, when we think about air pollution, every 1 milligram or microgram per meter cube increase is associated with increased dementia risk. So if you are at a place that is very polluted, it's not just affecting your respiratory system, it's actually affecting our brain as well. So try to stay out of that. Clean the house. I was just advising a client, with sensitive skin as well, to make sure that the room is clean. Don't keep too much of a clutter. Don't use thick curtain. You can use a blind instead. And of course, you need to keep washing your, bed sheets and all that on a regular basis. And use a good air filter system. Right? If you're looking at a good air filter system, you can always check out our webinar. We talk about air and water quality as well, especially with our own in-house, engineer Pehan, to always share with us on healthy air, healthy water, and how does it affect our health. So one today I'm going to add on is that you might not hear this in his webinar, is that air pollution increase the risk of dementia and 3%. This is not a small percentage. So atmosphere is the air filter that we use. And as a team, we use this because we know that this is the only one that is certified to remove not just COVID-19 virus reduction, but all 327 allergens, bacteria, spores, dust, yeast, pollen, and viruses. We can remove all these harmful contaminants in the air, keep our air clean, so that it will reduce the risk of dementia as well. Okay, so check it out if you're looking for a good air filter system. And then to bring down the four things that we talked about, right? Just now we talked about four things: obesity, which is weight, cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Is really to do with what we eat. So how do we eat to bring this down and to reduce the risk of dementia? It's like this. There's a whole list of foods that is brain protective and brain trap. So while we know that we might love to eat some of these things, for example, trans fat, saturated fat, we want to make sure that we have enough of good stuff to give the brain protection as well. So that's very, very important. So what are the good things for the brain? Number one is really omega-3. More than 50% of our brain is made of fat, a lot of fatty tissues in our brain. So omega-3 helps to bring down inflammation for our brain, helps to give the brain some good nutrients. So omega-3 is something that we want to eat more. Omega-3 are things like walnut, salmon, mackerel, sardine, chia seed, flaxseed, and even oyster. Try to do 3 times a week if you can, like fatty fish, for example, salmon, sardine, herring, all that. Include that in your diet. That's because when we eat out, if we eat out most of the time we'll be taking omega-6, which is all the corn oil, sunflower oil, all the processed food, the very cheap oil, they are mainly omega-6. So when our omega-3 and 6 is not balanced, right? We put a lot of 6 compared to 3, the body will go into inflammation. So clients tell me that, they got shoulder ache, they got body ache, they feel tired even if they sleep enough. They fall sick easily. Right? These are all inflammation in the body. And of course, it can affect our brain health as well. So try to include sardine, salmon, omega-3 egg. If you don't like to eat fish, you can go for omega-3 egg. Some eggs are fortified with omega-3. Can do that as well. If you are vegetarian, you can do flax seeds or walnut. These have got omega-3 as well. Yeah, and omega-3 not just help to sleep, help with eye health, anti-inflammation, so our bones, our joints all affected, and promote the brain health as well. It actually fights depression, anxiety, and even for kids with ADHD, omega-3 is actually used to help them with calming down effect so that they can focus a bit better. Okay? So it's a superfood. If there's anything, omega-3 is something that we want to include. And for myself, I use Neutralite Omega Complex. This is our omega-3, advanced omega, that 3 times the absorption from the normal omega in the market, helps the body to absorb and make use of the omega much, much better. So explore this if you don't take 3 times of fatty fish on a weekly basis. Then limit saturated fat. So what are saturated fat? Basically, saturated fat are the fat in red meat, especially red meat, like pork, like beef, like mutton. So these are filled with saturated fat. So research has shown that if you take more than 25 grams of saturated fat a day, have much higher risk of Alzheimer's disease, which is the most common form of dementia. Right? And another research shows that for adults, 1,341 adults aged 50 and above, and follow them for 21 years. So Saturated fat, for those that high saturated fat, actually have got much higher risk of mild cognitive impairment, meaning the mind, the memory, and all that is not as good as those who take lesser saturated fat. Okay? So that's how important it is to limit our saturated fat, which is red meat. I should always recommend try to limit your red meat to 2 times a week, and fried food as well. Try not to take more than 2 times a week. I know there are a lot of fried, options available, so try to limit the use. Right? And saturated fats like in beef, for example, 100 gram of beef already got 15 grams. So to take 25 grams is not a lot if you are taking things like bacon, chocolate, coconut oil, lamb, beef. All these are high in saturated fat. Whereas if you compare with chicken, which is the white meat, that's got much lower saturated fat. And of course, the fruits are the vegetables almost don't have. Banana, broccoli, spinach, apple, nothing. Right? So these are the good stuff that you can eat on a regular basis. Of course, the processed food as well are usually high in saturated fat. Chocolate, cookies, ice cream, donut, croissant. Okay? All these as well. And more importantly, the processed food has trans fats. Trans fats are just vegetable oil, add on a hydrogen molecule to make it solid and to make it easy for transport and for storage. Like it will actually bring up a lot of inflammation in our body, including our brain. Okay, so avoid trans fats at all costs. Some countries already ban trans fats, but not Singapore. So Malaysia as well. So it's really the onus is us to read the food label to try to avoid trans fats as much as we can. Okay? And then, of course, increase antioxidant. That's why we stress so much on gut protein, our gut morning. Every morning, take 4 to 5 different vegetables. That gives the body a very good start with a lot of antioxidants. Okay? And antioxidants are great for the brain. All the different colors, as you can see here, tomato, carrot, pomegranate, berries are all great for our brain health. Gives us a lot of antioxidants. Just imagine the tomatoes hanging out there under the sun, the rain, 24 by 7, and feel so nice, so soft. No? The antioxidant protection is actually very strong for all the fruits and vegetables. So we want them in our body as well to protect ourselves. Alright? So if you really can't, there are some clients who tell me that Ginny, there's no way that I can take 30 types of vegetables a week. I always recommend them our double X, which is our multivitamin. This double X itself has got 19 different plant concentrates. From here you can see pomegranate, grapes, lemon, tomato, turmeric, onions, kale, rosemary, you name it, blueberries. So it's a good baseline. I'm not saying that it can replace your natural food. It can definitely not. But if you really have a gap in our daily diet, this will be something that can fill up the gap as our double X. And increase healthy protein, also very important. And for healthy protein, try to focus on plant-based protein, not just animal protein, because we know that it is lamb, beef, mutton, and all that. Again, you are taking in a lot of saturated fat. But plant-based protein is very low in saturated fat, no trans fat, and good protein source. So you can do quinoa, soybean, tofu, edamame, seeds and nuts are good. Lentils, okay? All these you can add bits and pieces into our diet. And protein is a neurotransmitter. We need that to build the plasticity in our brain and also to transmit the neurons from our brain to all the other parts of the body. So protein is really important. Right? Again, based on your body weight times 1.5 grams, that is the protein that you need every day. For example, I'm 50 kg times 1.5, I need 75 grams of protein and divide into 3 meals. For me, it will be 25, 25, 25. So we know how much we need to eat in terms of protein. Right? And of course, a healthy gut can help with our healthy brain as well, because you would have heard of this gut-brain connection. Right? Gut and brain has been talking to each other all the time. That's why when you feel stressful, when you're about to go for an important presentation, important meeting, you have no appetite to eat. Your favorite food in front of you for lunch, but 2 o'clock you have a board meeting. You need to present an important paper. You have no appetite because your brain is telling your stomach that cannot. I'm very stressful, Ginny. Okay, you need to prepare yourself for the presentation. You have no time to enjoy the food. Okay? So it's the same. When our gut is not well, when our gut doesn't have all the good microbiome, it's sending negative um, signals to our brain as well. So our brain will not be healthy, will not be performing at its best. So we want to have a balanced diet. We don't want to always feel anxious, eat a lot of, junk food, so that our stomach can always be healthy and we send in all the good vibes to our brain so that our brain can function at its optimal. So many friends told me that after the gut morning, they can concentrate better. They have less cravings for the sugary food. They have less of, brain fog that cannot focus, feel tired and all that. That changed just by changing the diet. Okay, and research also show that the gut microbiome is also linked to not just depression, but anxiety, Parkinson's disease. So the scientists actually study the gut combination of a healthy person and a person with depression and realize that there are certain microbacteria that are actually lacking in people with depression or anxiety. So it's important for us to feed our gut with the right food so that our gut can have all the good microbiomes to work for us. Right? So what are bad? Avoid red meat. Maybe just limit to 2 to 3 times, 2 times a week maximum. Avoid highly processed food. Any food that you see the label, if you read behind that E1, E123, E102, these are all the food, preservatives, coloring, flavoring, emulsifier, etc. All bad for the gut. And of course, highly processed food got a lot of preservatives. So preservatives do what? Preservatives preserve the food from turning bad. Means it's antibacterial. And what is in our gut again? Bacteria, right? So you'll be killing the gut bacteria. And artificial sweetener as well, we want to avoid them. And try to take 30 different plants every week. 30 different plants, different colors, different textures, so that we give the variety and diversity for our child. 30 grams of fiber. Fiber is also the food for our gut bacteria, so that when we build our gut bacteria well, it can send all the positive signals to our brain. We can focus better, less depressed, less mood swing. For me, what I really feel is less mood swing. My mental state is a lot more stable. I don't get very agitated or irritated easily because of this diet. And 3 portions of fatty food to keep us anti-inflammation. So these are all the food with the probiotic. Try to go for Greek yogurt if you can. Super, tempeh, miso, kimchi. These are all the food that you can go for. Natto, even apple cider vinegar. Right? If you really can't, many friends say that I don't really take them in our day-to-day basis, then you can add on our Nutrilite mix probiotics. This has got a balanced 5 hero strings that focus on immunity and also allergy. Okay, it helps to prevent allergy, digestion, and immunity. Okay, something you can add on. And we work very closely with a renowned scientist or renowned research firm. This is Cam Pharma from Korea. So I had a chance to work with him directly. And this is actually the research company that produced our probiotic. So we understand the philosophy behind the products, we understand the benefit of the product and the safety more importantly. Find out more, check with the person who invited you in so that you can understand more about our probiotic to help you with your gut and brain health. Okay, so the gut reset is our 14-day program that you can use just to help with our gut first and from there improve our mental fitness. Okay, so this is the gut morning blend that I do on a daily basis. Something that is really very nice, um, energize me every morning, right? So if you want to explore this for the next 14 days, you can check with the person who invited you in. You can check with myself or Hui Ying is here as well. Any one of our fitness coach, LiCo is here, Patricia. Go check with any one of us. Pehan is also here. If you'd like to know more about our gut morning. Okay, and of course, to go for Mediterranean diet. This itself will help you to control the blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight. Okay? Make half of your plate vegetables, all the different colors and texture. Use a whole grain and good protein source. This would be the base. Want to learn more? Yeah. So if you want to learn more, you can always check with our health coaches as well. What we can do is we can do a one-to-one consultation for you if you have any concern about preserving your brain health, right? Because we have a community to support each and every one of us in this healthy journey. Just talk to any one of our health coaches, or you can just put it in the chat, say that you want a one-to-one consultation, especially if you have family history of dementia, you have elderly parents who has got this issue, or any family members with three highs, hypertension, cholesterol, blood sugar, or obesity. Let's discuss more. This is a complimentary consultation. We don't charge, and we'll be providing you understanding a bit more about your diet, nutrition, and provide you with some ideas, some plans for you to regain your health. All right. So also connect with us, and of course join us for our workout. Let me share with you our upcoming events. We're going to have a health coaching training for the next few months. November to December, there's a 4 week of health coaches program, 2 hours each every Wednesday. In January, we're going to have another 4 sessions. So with this 8 session, you can be the chief health officer of your family. You'll be able to have all the essential information that you need to help your family members to be healthier, to be fitter. And you can potentially explore the wellness industry as well, to start a business, to start to create an income using this industry. All right, we'll give you more details next week. We'll be doing a preview of this health coaching class next week. All right, so stay tuned and join us next week at 8 o'clock. Of course, on the 2nd of November, we're going to have our Derma Architect workshop, which is our skincare workshop. Ellie will be in Singapore sharing this with us. So do come and learn together with us, our Derma Architect. And our cooking class on the 6th of November, which is a Thursday morning. Our LiCo Fun Walk on Saturday morning on 8th of November. Right, so a lot of activities lining up for you. And of course, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions on the activities that you can do, on the support that you need for our community, please let us know as well. We would like to, engage everyone to plan out the activities that we can do together, especially the new year is just around the corner. Right, the new year is coming, so we would really like to get everyone to work together so that we can have a more inclusive community for everyone to grow together. All right, so it's 8:30 now. I need to run for another webinar. Does anyone have any questions, any last questions on mental fitness? If you are still not sure, let's come back to revisit mental fitness again if you have any specific questions or any area that you want to go into. All right, we can take next week. Next week we'll have more time. We can take in your Q&A as well if you have any questions. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Brenda.
Hey, Jeannie, I want to ask you, you say for chicken, it's the size of the palm, correct? Chicken
Yes,
breast.
about 20 grams.
Oh, this is 20 grams.
Yes.
So that means we must cannot take one time a day, not enough. What?
No, you need 3 meals. For you, at least every meal you need this.
At least 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. It need not be chicken. It could be tofu, egg, and all that. You stack on at least like this.
But how if let's say we take plant-based like tofu, how do we know whether this one is how many grams?
I can send you
Wait,
But chicken easy to say lah. You say 20
chicken
gram
and
lah.
fish is a bit easier, but I can send you
Ah.
the chart to see how much is it. Generally, plant-based is actually lower. The
Oh.
protein source is a lot lower compared to animal-based, yes.
The
So we
problem is the
eat more.
portion. The
Yes.
portion only we don't know how to see.
Can. I'll send you the chart. Then you can at least know your favorite food, how much protein it contains.
But what do you suggest? Like morning, you say you used to do the gut morning, all those. Is there any other way besides eating those things like fruits, vegetables in the morning? Because
If
sometimes
you don't want to
sensitive.
use, if you don't want to use vegetables, you can use a meal replacement or body key. Body key plus protein, you can just shake and drink, and you can even drink it raw.
But eating other than drinking.
For eating, you can eat egg. So far, the best that we find, you can eat 2 eggs, hard boil or soft boil egg, or hard boil, like if you need to fight, then hard boil egg. For yourself, because you are underweight, you can also take whole grain bread, but the whole grain bread should not take over your stomach quota for protein. Protein still have to come first. If you still have space, then you can eat your bread,
Oh, so that one is 20 gram lah, the palm size. Oh, not enough. I must eat more than that.
Not enough. Yes.
Okay. Like sometimes like we have stomach bowel movement not so good. So how I want to take to replace the meal. Let's say sometimes our bowel system not so good on that very moment. How what type of food be good?
Actually, if your bowel movement is not good, probiotic should be able to help you. Probiotic, yes.
It's not constipation.
Yeah. Sometimes you feel bloatedness or irritable
Passing.
bowel syndrome. So the probiotic has been working very well actually. Have you tried the probiotic?
Oh, the probiotic.
Yes. Just take one a day for 3 months, and then you will just change, your microbiome combination of your stomach. It gives you better appetite. If you always don't have appetite, cannot digest well as well. It will help.
Then we don't have to take any food already. Not scared hungry later.
You need to take food. You need to take food, of course. Especially
Like you give example, what kind of food? What kind of food to take?
You can do whole grain bread. You can do pumpkin, sweet potato. If you want carbs, then you can do pumpkin, sweet potato. These are all okay. As long as you settle your protein already, you can go for your carbs. Yeah. And
More
good fats also.
like meal great.
So you can also do avocado.
Can I take the protein shake or not?
Can drink the protein shake.
Can other than taking the probiotic?
Of course, you take the 3 things together: protein, probiotic, and fiber for 3 months, right? To reset your gut first, so that you can feel that the difference. You can really experience the difference in terms of your gut health.
Okay, I try.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.